Well, it was another weekend of upsets at the World Cup with tournament favourites Brazil and Argentina both knocked out at the quarter-final stage. And of course, Ghana lost 2-1 to Uruguay in a penalty kick-out. So as we enter the semi-finals this week, what are punters telling us? Joining me now is Brent Graham from goodforthegame.co.za. Brent, thanks for coming in today. So I'm sure you watched some of that action over the weekend, and I don't think you could have forecast many of those outcomes.
A very, very tough weekend to forecast those outcomes, especially some of the drama that took place during the games. Penalty misses, handballs. I mean, you really couldn't have written a script for some of those matches. It was great entertainment, and really this World Cup's taken a light.
And your view on that hand of God that stopped Ghana from progressing any further?
It's a tough one, you know. At the end of the day, he's obviously taking a lot of stick for it. Everyone's saying he cheated, and he did. But, I think virtually any player in his position would have done the same thing. He just happens to have been there. As it happened, it managed to get his side through to a World Cup semi-final. Probably what should have happened was that penalty should have been buried and his side should have been out, which would have been justice, I suppose.
And how about the entire Brazilian team and their coach being sacked for their performance?
Well, Brazil, I mean, that was really a big shock. Certainly at half-time there, 1-0 over Holland. Brazil looked to have everything under control. But to lose 2-1 there, and a country like Brazil, for them making the quarterfinals isn't a success. It's sort of win or nothing. And the coach knows that going into the tournament. There was lots of criticism of the style of play. Had he gone on and won the tournament, he would have been fine. He would have got away with it. But you lose it in the quarterfinals, and you're a Brazil coach. You're not gonna be there come the end of the month.
Now Germany's looking pretty formidable as we go into the final two stages of this World Cup. What were they looking like? What did the odds tell us as the tournament began? Because of course Spain at that point were the favourites. How did Germany look back then?
Well, Germany, you could have got odds of 14-1 at the start. When Michael Ballack was injured for the Germans, a lot of people thought they weren't going to go that very far. Very young squad. In fact, what a lot of people thought would count against the Germans, including the German public themselves, is what's really worked in their favour. Young, enthusiastic side. They've gone in from 14-1. They now sit at 2-1. But you could even have got 10-1 before the last 16 game against England, and even before Argentina you could have got 7-1, because they have had a fairly tough run into the semi-final.
So they're level pegging with Holland at this stage. They're also 2-1.
Yes, Holland 2-1. Holland are obviously the big favourites to go through to the final, and it looks as though they've got slightly the easier side of the draw now that they've come through Brazil, playing against Uruguay, who are the underdogs here. And Spain and Germany very evenly matched. And just speaking to a local bookmaker, World Sports Betting, he was saying money for both sides, suggesting that punters really don't know which way to go on this one.
And of course Spain back to tournament favourites, and they were tournament favourites when the whole tournament started at 18-10.
That's it. I mean, at one point they did drift out after the Switzerland defeat. They weren't looking so good. They've come back. They haven't dominated teams. They've only scored, I think it is, 6 goals. But they've done enough to win, and I suppose that's all that counts. They do have the pedigree. Last time they met Germany was in the European Championship final. They did win that 1-0 with a Torres goal, but this is a very different German side that they're playing now.
Of course, you can still get good money if you put it on Uruguay and they go through and win 12-1 at this stage. But of course, they do not have Suarez as they go into the semi-finals, and he has been their chief goal scorer, hasn't he?
Yeah, between him and Forlan, they've got 6 out of 7 of the Uruguayan goals that have been scored in this tournament. So he's a big loss to them. On the other side, though, Holland also missing a couple of players with suspension. There's injury doubts on both sides. So as a punter, you probably want to keep a close eye on the sort of team news just before the game. But I can't see Uruguay doing it. I think maybe their mindset may not be quite the same as the Dutch team either. I think Holland are going to cruise through to the finals.
Who do you think is going to win that final?
Very, very tough one. I would like to see a Germany-Holland final personally, and I think this Holland team have got what it takes. I know a lot of people, unfortunately I'm not one of them, I know a lot of people got on board Holland at 15-1 at the start of the tournament. There was plenty of support.
I know a couple of them.
Started sort of 10-1, yeah. So for the sake of all of those guys with their money down on Holland, I hope that Holland can beat Germany in the final.
And the Golden Boot, who's that likely to go to?
The Golden Boot at the moment, you've got a very strong favourite in David Villa from Spain. Now he's moved ahead now on 5 goals. And of course, at this stage of the World Cup, it is expected that the games could get fairly tight as well. Closer from Germany, just behind him on 4. He's at 7-2. Villa, he's odds on, he's 6-10. So you get a 60% return on your investment if you back them. Bearing in mind, all 4 sides that are now through to the semi-finals will play 2 more matches in this World Cup, because if you lose, you play in the 3rd and 4th place playoff. So there is hope, even if a team loses, for your guy who you've backed to get the Golden Boot to come out and score goals in the 3rd and 4th place playoff.
I'm sure quite a few people lost money on Ghana over the weekend as well.
There was, I spoke to bookmakers last week, and there was plenty of money for Ghana, be it sentimental value and otherwise. One punter in particular had a bet of 15,000 Rand to win 50,000 on Ghana. That's a pretty big strike, and okay, that was in the 90 minutes, but it was heartbreak all around, when Ghana went out. And the fact that they went so far helped ensure the success of this World Cup, but it would have been great to have them in for one more round.
Well, at least that punter was patriotic. He has that.
That's it.
Brent, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for coming in again.
Excellent. Always a pleasure. Thanks.
That's Brent Graham from goodforthegame.co.za.